What up, you guys? It's Rafael at Top Shot Collectibles, and in today's video we are doing a business related video. That's right, it's been a while. The market has been so crazy that I haven't really had time to touch base on a couple of businessy type of videos, but today we are doing the top 5 challenges of running an online TCG / Pokemon shop. So it's been about, I think, 9 or 10 months now since I launched Top Shot Collectibles, but there are 5 things that I put together that I think it's very important to anybody currently running an online TCG business, or it could be a eBay business, a TCG player business, any type of TCG business. I think it's very important to understand these. Now, these are all from my personal experience. You may have experienced different things, but this is what I've experienced with running my online TCG business in the last 9 to 10 months. And by the way, these are not in any type of order. They are just 5 things that I came up with that I know are challenges to me in my business and may be challenges to you in your business as well. Some of these things may not apply to you, but the majority of them probably will if you run an online TCG business. So at number 5, we have chargebacks. Now, you guys already know I made a couple videos about chargebacks, and I've tried to dabble the whole avoidance of chargebacks and all the things. I've had several chargebacks. I lost 2 of them. I won 1 of them. It is really tough. It is a lot of time consuming, and it could be very stressful if you are navigating by yourself through the shop, doing everything that you need to do for, product acquisition, customer service. You're doing the whole 9 yards. It can be very hectic to deal with chargebacks, especially if they're large orders. So chargebacks are a pain in the you-know-what. And so I made a change, talked to a couple people that also run a Shopify store, online store. And one change that I did was manually capturing payment. So one issue that I was having is that Shopify gives you an analysis, right, of every order, showing red if it's in danger of being a chargeback. It will tell you, Shopify will tell you to cancel the order if it's at risk of being a chargeback. And so the problem is that when the processing payments goes through, Shopify will charge you a 3% to 5% processing fee. And even if you cancel the order because of a chargeback or a potential chargeback, Shopify will not refund that processing fee. So effectively making you take a hit on the cancellation of that order. And so what I did, and I'll be putting screenshots of that here, in your admin portal of Shopify, you go into settings, then you go into payments, and then there will be a section that says payment capture method. In this section, you click manually, and essentially what this does is every order that comes through, you have to first vet it, analyze it, ensure the address matches the billing, ask the questions, make sure the Shopify analysis is low, and they're not using proxy addresses, and they're not placing an order from like the Philippines trying to send it to the port. All of those things that you normally would check for chargeback, potential fraud orders, right? And so after you do all that, then you decide if you want to capture the payment. What this allows you to do is that if this is an order that may be fraudulent, may potentially be a chargeback, it allows you to cancel it without taking that 3 to 5% processing fee because you never process the payment, right? By default, your store will capture payment manually. All you have to do is fulfill it. Now, one very important thing to note about this setting change is that you do have 7 days to capture payment. If you don't, then essentially you cannot capture payment. You have to have the user retype their information, basically repurchase from you. So it's very important. Just don't take that long to capture payment. And the other negative thing of this is that you have to capture payment manually. So you have to do an extra step. So that's what I changed to, and I haven't had any issues ever since I did that setting change. I think it's helped. There are other ways to automate this. There are companies out there that will link into your Wix account or Shopify account and charge you a fee to do all of this, and you don't have to worry about vetting and doing all these analysis. They'll do it for you, but again, it's not free. This is a setting that is already built into Shopify. I'm pretty sure Wix will have it too if you're running Wix, but I think it's very useful to have. And if you are somebody that are trying to not have to pay memberships everywhere to run your online shop, then this is a viable option that I opted in for. All right, the number 4 challenge is product acquisition. Now, with product acquisition, one of the hardest things that I've had to learn the last 10 months is that I have to realize that when I'm buying product or when I'm buying a collection, is I have to know that the funds that I'm using are for the shop. But oftentimes I will find myself looking at a collection and will see something that I want for me, for myself, and I have to kind of like retract it and say, no, this is a shop purchase, not a personal purchase. And so it is very kind of like you have to know how to divide that personal from business, because everything that you see back here in the background is my personal collection. None of this is for sale on the shop. The stuff that's on the shop, it is procured differently, specifically to sell on the shop for profit, right? And so I've had to like learn to say no to things that I wanted personally, because now I have a shop to run and I have people and customers that go to the shop and expect, for example, Phantasma Flames, new releases to be available for them to purchase, and I have to kind of not purchase anything for myself until the shop, gets its product and moves forward from the new set release, for example. So that's one challenge that I felt that I had to work a little bit on to be able to fulfill the shop versus my personal needs. Number 3 challenge is pricing accuracy, and consistently, I should say, because I think I've had it several times where if you are not pricing correctly and regularly, you're gonna find yourself seeing certain products just sit on your shop. For example, you have something that you priced at X amount, the market has now dropped in price in the current corrective market that we're in right now. Your product will sit if you're over market. The majority of people, before they make a purchase, they will go on TCG Player, they will go on eBay, and they will see how much that same product costs somewhere else. So just think that the majority of people would do that. So if you can proactively look at those places when you're pricing your stuff and kind of put it where you could be a little bit below market, then you're already ahead of the curve. But the problem is that you have to consistently be doing that to stay consistent on your pricing across the board. And if you have a large shop and if you have a lot of product, that can take a lot of time. So that's something that I had to consistently schedule for on my end. And more importantly, if you sell singles and graded cards, because these tend to fluctuate more than sealed. So when I started to sell graded cards on the shop, I did realize that the graded cards that were above market were just sitting there, and the ones that were below were selling quickly. So at some point, I remember having the EVEX from the Prismatic Evolutions promo. I had several copies of that, and it was sitting for the longest time. I dropped it a little bit below market at some point, all 4 of the PSA 10s that I had in there, and I think during that week, the price has skyrocketed to I think it was like $150 or something like that. I was like $30 below market, and somebody bought them all because they did what I just told you to. They went into my shop, they saw the price that I had, they went into eBay last sold, and then they went into TCG Player and other places to look at what the value of that PSA 10 slab is, and they decided, hey, this guy has it for X amount, and there's no taxes because I don't have Nexus anywhere. So after checkout and fees, it was way cheaper than what they could have gotten it somewhere else. So they, pulled the trigger on my shop. While you can still make profit that way because you price accordingly with already your margins in place, if you don't price correctly, in my opinion, you're leaving a couple dollars here and there on your items if you're not ahead of the curve in terms of the price and how the way the market is moving at the time of your product being put into your shop. The number 2 challenge is inventory. Inventory is something that you need to be doing every single week, in my opinion, depending on the size of your shop. But you need to do inventory very, very consistently, because I've had issues in the past where I would go out and buy a collection, and on my phone, I will go on my Shopify app and I will adjust the quantities to make the boxes available, the ETBs available in that moment. And then the very next day, I would take the stuff out of my car and put it in the shop, and I forget that I had done that, so I would add them again on my laptop as I put them in the shop, effectively having double the amount of product that I would when I did it. And so that caused the items to sell, and eventually when I got some of the orders, I realized that I was short based on the amount of inventory that I should have had. In that instance, I had to pull from my personal collection. Luckily, I had available of that particular ETB in my personal collection to pull from and fulfill the orders. But it goes to show how important inventory is and how you can leave a bad sour taste or customer experience with somebody if they are placing orders and you don't have your inventory accurately portrayed on your website. So I think if you're doing singles, it's very important for you to have a accurate inventory in your TCG Player inventory. It goes the same way if you're doing an eBay account, and if you have your own website, same concept. Inventory is very important together with pricing accurately based on what the market fluctuations are. The number 1 challenge that I think I've experienced in the last 10 years, at which 10 months, is the I want to call it the multiplying myself. I am a one-man show. My stepson and my wife do help from time to time. But because I work a full-time job and I have this shop that is running, I believe that you need to have really good organizational skills to be able to plan accordingly, use a calendar to plan everything that you need to do throughout the week, because when you're running customer service, answering emails, you have to find product, pricing, inventory. You run out of boxes, you run out of paper material, you're running out of things, labels, ink on your printer. All of that piles up, and so you have to have some type of system that allows you to proactively do these things ahead, to not have to last minute on a weekend sale that you run and be out of things. So as you get good at knowing how much product you're using and how much of inventory you need to do, how many times you need to price your website and all of that, as you get through the months, you get to know the rhythm of things, and start to create like systems in place to better help the packing of things. But if you're a one-man show, it is very, very important to sit down and kind of brainstorm what are ways to more efficiently run your business. What are the important things that help your business run that need to be done in a regularly weekly basis? Organizational skills are going to be primarily important if you're running or planning on running your own TCG online business. And if you're planning to grow, marketing is very important, but I will tell you it is time consuming. Like this video that I'm making right now is essentially a piece of marketing. Like any type of content that you can make, putting product in front of an audience or putting links in front of an audience is a form of marketing, and it does take time. The editing takes time. The making the videos, making the post on Instagram, all of that takes time. And if you're a one-man show, it can get very, very overwhelming. So organizational skills, putting things on a calendar, knowing reminders, knowing what to do when, it will be very, very beneficial for you to continue to push forward and grow your business into bigger and greater things. So there you have it. That is my top 5 challenges of running an online TCG business. I hope this was helpful to somebody. I haven't made too many business videos, but I do have a list of videos that I want to put out there. With the way the market was, it's been really hard to find the time and to make the videos and to place them properly together with all the investing and marketing videos that we do with the channel. As always, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps the algorithm and it helps me continue to make this video for you guys to consume out there. And as always, stay positive, keep your head up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.